Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me tonight. As always, I'm pretty excited about tonight's conversation and tonight's guest. Tonight is a great opportunity for all of us to get to know a little bit more about one of the candidates for Oklahoma County Commissioner. If you're new to these weekly conversations, welcome to the family. We're excited that you found your way here. If you've missed any of these previous conversations, it's okay. You can find them on my YouTube channel. Just jump over to YouTube and look up Conversations with Cubit. You'll find everything there. Be sure to subscribe when you get there, and then you can browse all the conversations you want. But right now, we are streaming live, so I need you to do me a really big favor and share this conversation. That's right. Don't keep this conversation to yourself. We want as many people as possible to be involved in the process, and we want them to join in this conversation live. So you absolutely must share this conversation with your community. Hit the share button or start a watch party, whatever you got to do. Special thanks, as always, goes out to my friends at Green Pasture Studios for hosting these weekly conversations. My friends Richard and Amy James are running things out in Spencer, Oklahoma at their studio, and I love everything they're doing out there. Everything from full-fledged movie production, commercials, and even a training academy. I spent a few hours with them last month, and it was incredible to watch the movie production process happening right here in Oklahoma City. Look them up. You'll be glad you did. But as you can see, we are not in the fancy studio tonight, but we'll talk much more about that in just a few seconds. First, I want to let you in on what my 3 simple goals are for having these weekly conversations. 1, I simply just want to add value to my community. 2, I want to inspire you to believe in what people and communities can become when we're willing to work together. And 3, last but not least, just love people, period. No strings attached. All this means is I want you to be inspired. I want you to get useful information and resources, and I want to celebrate individuals, groups, and organizations who are making a positive impact on our community. Every conversation here on Conversations with Cubit will be about information, inspiration, and hope. Now, anyone who has paid attention to the news in the last couple of years has heard all about the amazing things Ebenezer's Baptist Church has done and is doing in our community. One of those things has been a very consistent presence in the Northeast community with food, with household furnishings, and clothing. All of this stuff would create a storage and logistic nightmare for most of us, I can tell you. However, my friend Reverend Derek Scobie and his church has partnered with great places and great people. And tonight, we are broadcasting from the warehouse in the center of all the logistics and all of the fantastic community outreach. So all this stuff you see is Ebenezer outreach stuff. We are lucky enough to get the lady who happens to be the hands and the feet of this operation with us tonight. So let's get started. My guest tonight is none other than Pastor Christine Byrd. She's from the New Life Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, and Christine Byrd has been an active member in political policy and public policy and grassroots networking for over 25 years. She served as a political director for the Oklahoma Democratic Party, as well as a deputy field organizer on both of President Obama's election campaigns. She has been recognized nationally by the Democratic National Committee for her efforts. Christine Byrd has worked on national and internal party elections, the school board, county, and state levels to ensure diversity in political leadership. Her professional background includes public education, mortgages, nonprofit work with the homeless and battered women, and Christine Byrd is a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority and numerous other local and national organizations. Christine Byrd not only pastors a church and partners with Ebenezer, she has decided to run for Oklahoma County Commissioner District 1. I met her many years ago while helping with a few community events in the North Highlands community, in the North Highlands neighborhood, and she is an extremely loving mother and grandmother. You only need to be around her for about 60 seconds to recognize how much she loves people and how much she loves to serve people. We're connected that way. But tonight, we want to get to know more about her as a candidate and her goals for the office she seeks. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Round of applause. Make a lot of noise, I guess, for my friend, Christine Byrd.
Thank you.
Welcome to Conversations with Cubit.
Thank you so very much, Cubit. I am excited about being here tonight. some exciting. I said to my children, I'm a little bit nervous too. You know, they say, "Oh, Mama, you'll be fine," but you know, and then on top of that, I'm celebrating my birthday today.
Happy birthday to you. Don't get me to singing.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, but yeah.
I'm not going to tell my age.
You're not. I was not going to ask.
Well,
I was not going to ask. I was going to say, what are you, about 22, 23?
Yeah, you're pretty close.
I'm pretty close.
You're getting close, you know, but you're doing good.
I'm always going to guess around there.
You're doing good then. You're doing good then.
So listen, we're going to get to know you a little bit. And so what I've been doing with my guests is I've been asking them some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And just to kind of get, personally, as a police officer, this is all I need to know. Once you answer these questions right here, I know all I need to know about you. Right?
Okay.
So, all right. So maybe they're like me, but so all you have to do is just quickly answer one or the other. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
All right. All right. And we'll start off pretty easy.
Okay.
All right. In Oklahoma, would you rather be in Oklahoma in August or in January?
August.
August. Do you call it sneakers or tennis shoes?
Tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes. Would you rather have a phone call or a text message?
Phone call.
Phone call, okay. Frontier City or Whitewater?
Neither.
Ain't going to neither one of them. All right. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Is it soda or is it pop?
Pop.
It's pop. Would you gonna do a truck or would you rather have a car?
A car.
You're a car person. Are you a handshake or a hug person?
A hug.
You're a hug person.
I love to hug people.
All right. Watching TV, is it gonna be a scary movie or a comedy?
Comedy.
Comedy. Okay. Would you rather go to a birthday party or a wedding?
Birthday party.
Birthday party. Okay. I'm starting to see the party animal in you. Since the day is your birthday.
That's right.
All right. What was worse as a kid for you? Was it the whooping or the punishment?
The punishment.
The punishment.
Yes.
They lasted too long.
Yeah.
Just get it over with. The whooping.
I just want her to go ahead and whoop me.
Okay.
Whoop me, please. Stop talking.
All right. If you're home alone, we're most likely to find you singing or dancing.
Both.
Singing and dancing.
Love the.
Okay. Is in Oklahoma City. This is stretch of road. Some of us call it 235, and some of us call it Broadway Extension. What do you call it?
Broadway Extension.
Broadway Extension. And you like comedy. Would you rather have Eddie Murphy or Kevin Hart?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. All right. Home cooked meal or go out to eat?
Home cooked.
I know everything I need to know about you. Shut the show down now. I got it all.
I'm a country girl.
Old school country girl.
Yes.
That don't like whoopings.
Don't like whooping.
Right.
Didn't like whooping. I did not like whooping.
Would you rather have the whooping than the...
I'd rather have the whooping than have the discussion.
In the lecture. And all
in the lecture. Just whoop me and get it over with.
Do you lecture your kids?
Yes, I have become my mother. Well, my kids are all grown. So my grandchildren...
Grown don't make them lecture proof.
Well, they get lectures. You know, and it's like, and they still say, please, Mama, please, just get it over with.
Get it over with.
Now, the grandkids call me Nana, and they get whoopings.
Yeah.
And I do like my mother. I tell them to go outside and find a switch.
Oh, no.
And, you know, so they come in here with that little
bitty thing. It ain't gonna work.
You know, here, Nana, so.
Well, my grandkids don't get any corporal punishment. Ain't that a shame? I don't do it. We ain't gonna do it.
That's good.
I ain't gonna allow it.
God bless you.
Not around me, but their parents better. Anyway. So listen, tell us a little bit about yourself before we start talking about the campaign. Where you from? Where you grew up? Where you go to school?
I am originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, by way of a smaller town called Wabasiki. And
so say that.
Wabasiki. And Wabasiki, the downtown was probably 4 stores. You could zoom through it, and if you blink, you missed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I came from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. My mother raised us. I have 9 brothers and sisters. There are 9 of us. My mother put us all through college and stuff. And my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather did not know a father figure. So I'm being honest, didn't know. But my grandmother and mother were very strong black women. even though when we were brought up, my mother and my grandmother we saw them go clean houses. Mm-hmm. And that was the one thing they, talked about with us. They never wanted to see us, any of their children, doing that type of labor, that type of work. And so they impressed upon us education. So, yeah. And my grandmother was a sharecropper, and my grandfather, they were sharecroppers. So, and you came of age in Arkansas when you could go pick cotton.
Oh, man. And you did that?
Yeah, but wanted to, because that meant I was just right over to be grown. Uh-huh. So it was exciting when you say, get up at 4 o'clock and go jump on the truck, and...
When did you come to Oklahoma City?
If I tell you that, then I'm going to tell my age.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, well, no, I won't. I will say that I've been here in Oklahoma City about 35 years. Mm-hmm. I came to Oklahoma City out of college. I'm going to say this, and young women will understand this, following behind a man. Okay. I came to Oklahoma City. Uh-huh. Came to Oklahoma City and thought I was madly in love, uh-huh, and decided to leave Arkansas and came here. And, one thing about Arkansas, Arkansas still, during that time when I came, there was still atmosphere of racism. It's a different, a lot of people will not understand this, but the racism in Arkansas is different than the racism here in Oklahoma. In Arkansas, it was in your face. Yeah. We knew what the Klan was. They would have parades in the downtown area. Yeah. So we knew that. We knew what it was, to see a sea of black women at the bus stop in white uniform to go clean and raise other people's children. So it was a difference. So my mother said to me once, she said to me when I made the decision that I needed to leave Arkansas. Mm-hmm. She said, because your mindset is beyond Arkansas, and you're going to either get in trouble, yeah, you're going to get in jail, or I'm gonna beat you half to death because you got in trouble and you got in jail. So I don't want to say my mother was an abuser. She was not, but one of the things was that she just said, your thoughts are out of the box. Yeah. And so you need to go and you need to find that dream that you're looking for, because it's not here in Arkansas. Right. Right. So I came to Arkansas. So part of it was, like I say, falling behind someone, but the other part was that I wanted more. Right. I wanted more.
Right. Where'd you go to college?
I went to University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Uh-huh. It was AM&E College. And then when they merged with the university system, it became the University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff. I did my undergraduate work there. I came here to Oklahoma City and immediately, I won't say immediately, but I did my master's program. I did a master's in urban education. I did a master's in multicultural education at Langston University. Yeah. And then I wasn't enough for me. So I started my study to begin to work on my doctorate. Mm-hmm. And so I at Grand Canyon University, and I hope to defend my paper this fall. Oh man, more power to you on all that schooling. I admire it, and I appreciate it for sure. Tell me about a little bit about this place and your partnership with Ebenezer, and because my team, we work with you, or as I say, they work with you, because you see them a whole lot more than you see me. But it's a marvel of what happens in the logistics and all the stuff and keeping up where things are and who's getting what and how it's serving. You Scobie do a great job. Well, let me say this: the vision for this came through Pastor Derek Scobie. Mm-hmm. This started out. He didn't start out with this vision of the furniture and the clothing and the household item. He started out with food box giveaway, and many times some of the officers would come over and help because it was a major thing. We might get 2 or 3 trucks within a week. Mm-hmm. And long lines. Long lines, yeah. And so we were giving out the food boxes. I got connected with Pastor Scobie on the food boxes, going back to what I want to connect something, going back to what my mother said. My mother said, your thoughts are beyond what we're thinking. That's how I got connected with Pastor Scobie, was getting food boxes for my church. And one of the things was that being a woman pastor, it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's not on that bandwagon.
Right.
And so I was receiving food boxes, and it went okay, but it wasn't going as well as it should. And Pastor Reed had mentioned that Pastor Scobie, and told me to visit with him. And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
It's history.
So we start doing the food boxes, and then he worked with an organization called World Vision International, which is based all here in the United States, but they do work all overseas and everywhere. And they had talked to Pastor Scobie about how can we help you help the community?
Yeah.
And so, and they talked about the furniture and the household items with the understanding that these items were going to go to families that were in need. They're going to go to nonprofits and churches, and they were going to go to schools. And so we started out thinking this is going to be a small venture. This is going to be small. You know, well, let me say this. I started out.
Yeah.
I started thinking this is going to be small, and we'll do this for a little while, and we'll move on, and it'll be something else. So we're going into we've ended our second year, going into our third year, this little small thing that I thought was going
to really love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Because what it does, if you are truly giving to people, and you're giving from your heart, and you're giving because you feel the need and know the need is there, not only are you helping those people, but you're growing in the process. You cannot see the hunger, you cannot see the need, and not be touched by it. Because one of the things you find out about yourself. You find out about your level of endurance, your level of giving. So when folks come in and when folks go to the line, and you all have worked the lines and they've been down at Russell Perry's building, and we give until we don't have anything left. But it brings us such joy, because that one person in line may say thank you. That one person may give you a story or a testimony, what you did for them. Sometimes we've helped schools, and we've been able to do giveaways for people in education. We gave a giveaway for those that are help people in the medical field, the doctors, the nurses, you know, and that was, when you talk about touch my heart, and they were in line, and they kept saying, you all thought about us. And so we give the furniture, we give the household items, we give kayak boats, we give lawnmowers. We always get stuff, and we never give them a list to say we want this, whatever we found out, whatever we have on the truck, God already has somebody in mind for it.
There's a need somewhere.
So I remember when we first got the first 3 kayak boats, and we all laughed because we like, kayak, who needs kayak boats? But then, so happened through a program that you all do for youth.
Found a use for it.
Yes, found a use for it, and so we felt such joy. We've gotten water. And I laugh, and everybody teases me about the water that we get. And so I thought, oh, what are we going to do with all this water? But we found a use for it. We get Legos, but we're able to help some of the schools that have STEM research programs. So it is a way to be able to be a blessing. And I thank God for Pastor Scobie having the vision and taking hold of it. And then I thank World Vision and Q and Reed for choosing Ebenezer as a hub to be able to do this. Then I thank Pastor Scobie for letting me tag along.
Yeah, yeah.
I tag along. He lets me tag along and be in here in the warehouse to kind of help organize who gets what and who needs what, and so it's.
You do a great job. You do
Thank
a great
you
job.
very much.
Our officers hear a story or see a need, and they immediately call you. They get
They
you on
do.
speed dial to find out if there's something that fits the need here or if it's coming in, and they'll wait around weeks, and they'll come sometimes in their personal vehicles to deliver it.
They do.
They make sure they get it to where it needs to be. So I'm really proud of them, and I'm happy to get to work with you. Tell me about your campaign and the platform. Why are you getting into this political stuff?
Well, I've always been in political, always been involved with politics because, people always think politics is about the presidential in the White House, but politics is local first. And so for me to jump into the county commissioner's race, it was a given. Because when I looked at what the county commissioners do and some of their duties, I could not help but being drawn to that race. And it was not and I'm not running as a referendum on the county jail. See, everybody said, are you running because of the county jail? That's one of the issues. But there's so many other duties and responsibility of the county commissioner. And most people don't realize the county commissioner with the pharmacy and with, they regulate and help look over the federal food stamp program. And then they also do burials. They have temporary housing. Yes, they do the roads and the bridges, but I think people have such a narrow view because the county jail has been the focus right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be honest. Yes, I'm running for that, for that Christina and for that Dustin and for that Charles Moore and for that Gabriel and all those people that have died in the county jail. Yes, I'm running for them because they're the children and the fathers and the mothers of somebody, and somebody wants an answer. So yes, part of that is for them, but it is about bringing our county to another level. And when you talk about the different cities within Oklahoma County from Jones, because the needs of Jones, Oklahoma are different than the needs of Spencer, Oklahoma, or Forest Park, or the Village. So the needs are different. And so how do we be inclusive and bring all those entities into the circle and make sure that they know that they are important and that we are paying attention to the needs of their individual community? That's part of the reason. Then I want transparency. I want transparency.
Yeah.
I want us to have county commissioners that are available and not available during election cycles, available.
Right.
That I can call them and they'll answer. They're available in Spencer, Oklahoma, and they're looking at the holes, the mud holes in Spencer, Oklahoma. Are they available in Jones, and economic development is a big issue. So I'm running because we can do better.
Right.
We can do better. And I feel that I am equipped, and for me, God has equipped me for such a time as this. So I'm running because it's my calling.
Right.
And people need someone that is a leader that's willing to serve. And to serve me, you got to get muddy. And you got to put your hands to the plow, and you got to be willing to do the work.
Right. So I'm gonna take you back a little bit.
Okay.
So during the last couple of years, we've had some serious issues. We've had and leaders couldn't predict these issues. I mean, there's no way you could have predicted a pandemic. You couldn't have predicted the social justice movement that we had in 2020 with George Floyd. And even here, we've had the Julius Jones issue and protest. Can you speak to me about how you would handle, or how you feel like we handled them at the time, and how you would handle such things should they arise? Because there's always some unknowns that come up in leadership.
Let me speak to the Julius Jones issue first.
Yeah.
First of all, let me be transparent. I know Julius personally. Julius grew up with my boys. He went to John Marshall and played basketball with my son Michael. So I know him. He sat at my table and he ate lasagna. And so he played basketball in front of my house. And how would I have handled it a little bit different? First of all, for me, I believe, and I know in my heart, he was innocent because I know him. Did he make some wrong choices? And as my mother would say, watch the company you keep. He did. I think as far as with the Julius Jones, I think at that time we did what was needed to be done. I know the county commissioner cannot make any decision about the Julius Jones.
Right, obviously.
We can have our input, they can have their input and think what they personally think. But there are certain things they have no jurisdiction over, and the county commissioner, legislators have no jurisdiction in those areas. But I think that people wanted to see where our leaders stand with those issues. They wanted to know, do you stand with us as we're walking the pavement, as we are asking the DA and we're asking the governor, where do you stand with us? Will you come out there on the front line and march with us? Or are you going to stay in the background and whisper your support because you're more worried about how people will react when the election cycle comes? So I think people wanted our elected leaders to know, where do you stand with the Julius Jones? Not that you could fight or you could let him out, but where did you stand? Yeah. As far as the pandemic, I think overall we did a good job. I think we did. I think one of the things is that making sure people were getting the vaccines and making sure that we were speaking to the communities that were running low or not aggressively going out to get the vaccine. And you yourself know that in the African American community there were some people pushing back, saying, well, because of the Tuskegee and different things. But I think part of it is not even knowing what the Tuskegee research was truly about. So they just, TikTok and, spread a lot of misgiving.
What's your assessment on how we're doing or what we did with the COVID relief money that came into the county?
I know that it went to individuals to help with rent and utility bills, and I thank the county commissioners for making that step. And I think it was truly needed. I think more money should have went to small businesses because there are still small businesses feeling the effect of the COVID and having to shut down, because of COVID. So I wish and I hope, I know they have another $168 million that they have to spend. And I hope they direct some of that to small businesses, and it does not go, and this is my own opinion, it does not go to build the new jail. I want them to give that to small businesses, and help them stay open to keep jobs going. Yes, and I think more effort needs to put toward rents and utility because people are still hurting. People are still hurting. And so I think that money needs to go for what the government designated it for, as far as small businesses and individual families that have needs, because there's still a lot of hurt. We still get calls of individuals asking for food boxes, people asking for, utility bills because they can't pay their rent, and landlords, and landlords are feeling the effect also because the money is not getting to landlords as quickly as it should, and landlords are frustrated. They don't want to have to put people out, but then what are they supposed to do? And so I want that money to go to individuals, landlords, and small businesses.
Where do you stand? Because we hear, and especially this week on TV and in the news, I think they voted about building a new jail. Where do you stand on that? Because I hear some people say, we don't need a 1,400 bed facility. We're making the jail bigger. If the bigger you make it, the faster they're going to fill it up. That's one side of it. The other side says we need a more humane place to stay. And we want to not only do we want to build another jail, but we need to do some other things before we need to build a jail, like mental health and put money into other things. Where are you on this issue?
I do believe that we need to build another jail. For me, the jail was inadequate from the offset. And I don't think that they put the thought they needed to when they built that jail. I think that because I've talked to individuals that have been in jail, received phone calls, and they talk about the bed bugs, they talk about the roaches, they talk about the sewage bag up, they talk about some of the things that are taking place in the jail. One, I do believe we need to build a new jail, but I do not believe that we need to use COVID money to build a new jail. I don't agree with that. Yeah. Two, I think that what we need to do is there should be a separate units for those that are mentally ill, because when you put mentally ill, let me go back to something. The county jail is understaffed. Everyone that works at the county is not necessarily equipped to work at the county. I've heard horror stories from people talking about the mistreatment. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that people should not be in jail, because if people committed crimes, they need to pay their price to society. But I think there's a level of humanity. When animals in the animal shelter are better housed than inmates, I have a problem. I have a problem. So building a jail is not just what we need. We need to be able to hire folks and train folks and have them an understanding of who and what they are doing at work. It's not just a job.
Right.
Okay. Then two, I think that we need to talk about the humanity of it. Yes, they need to pay their debt to society, but also you want to treat them in a dignified way. I know somebody saying, dignified? They broke into my house. Dignified, I'll give them dignity. No, what I'm saying is when we house them and they're in jail, do we have to treat them as if they're prisoners of war? Do we not have some love and respect? So we have to house mentally ill separate. And mentally ill need to have staffing, making sure that if they're on medicine, that someone is monitoring, that they're taking their medicine, that you have medical people on staff within that mental health facility. Three, homeless should not be in jail. Having lived on the streets myself for 2 years, and when I hear stories about somebody's in jail because they don't have anywhere to go, am I to be treated like that because I don't have a home?
Right.
I believe one of the things, I know that Oklahoma City has a homeless plan. And I believe that Oklahoma County and Oklahoma City need to look at that plan and see how they can collaborate together to make their effort more powerful, because we serve the homeless. I serve the homeless with Pastor Scobie in Ebenezer Baptist Church. He has his hand. Every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, more women and children are coming on the streets. Younger people are coming on the street. They need housing. They need affordable housing. Or we need shelters that basically they don't have to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and take all their possessions with them and then can't get back into the shelter until 5 o'clock in the evening. So mentally ill, we need a unit. Homeless, we need to up our housing, our shelter facility, and our programs for the homeless, and understand that homelessness is not a choice. I didn't choose to be homeless. It says that we all are 2 paychecks away from being homeless. We all are. Lose 2 paychecks and you're scraping, trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul. Then 3, I don't think people that have tickets need to be in the county jail. No. Traffic tickets. When you put people become their environment.
Yeah.
And when you put people that are mentally ill, people that have tickets, people that maybe had a bad night, and then you put them in a jail with someone that has committed violent crimes.
All right, looks like we just crashed. It just happens. We're in a warehouse in an undisclosed location. So Wi-Fi crashed on us. But just before we crashed, before we got notice that we crashed, I was about to ask you about the occupancy of the county jail. I think it was built for 1,200. And I think I heard that the new jail, the proposal for it is increased to 1,400. What are you about the occupancy level, especially when we're talking about criminal justice reform, Oklahoma being the lock 'em up capital of the world?
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to reduce our inmate population. How do you feel about that?
I have some problem with that, you know, with the 1,400, because to me, that's not criminal justice reform.
Okay.
That tells me, you know, in one breath you're saying we're talking about criminal justice reform, but how can you talk about criminal justice reform when you're talking about increasing the amount of individuals you incarcerate? Criminal justice means that I'm talking about a design, again, to bring out the mentally ill, bring out the homeless, bring out those folks with tickets. And so my thing is our numbers should be lower instead of higher. You know, because you're telling me that we need more.
We haven't been at 1,200. I don't think ever. I think it was built for 1,200, but we've never been really at 1,200. I think it probably is hovering around on a consistent basis at about 1,400. And you're saying you think we can get lower?
I think we can get lower.
Yeah.
I think we can get lower, but I think it is going to take work on our parts. When you talk about criminal justice reform, you're talking about a redesign and a restructuring and how we do our criminal justice arena. That you're not going to continue this to incarcerate nonviolent offenders. Maybe they need a program. You maybe have some that need drug. Again, and I forgot drug programs. And you know, you mentioned earlier about drug court. So we need programs for people that have problems with drug and alcohol addiction. Putting them in the county jail does not help that addiction. All it does is you holding them and keeping them, and I don't know if we're keeping them from the drugs anyway, because after I saw the inmates on TV with a barbecue, I'm like, if they can do a barbecue grill in the county jail, what else are they doing in there? So I think that when we start talking about criminal justice reform, and that is one of my top priorities, we have to take a hard look at who we're incarcerating and why we are incarcerating, and also work with other community groups. To me, it's like we're saying that we're in this by ourselves.
This is a good question for you. What's the role of the church in the reduction of inmates at the county jail? How can the church assist the county?
The church can assist the county in that the church ministers, witness, and help individuals that have drug and alcohol problems and folks that are going through tough times. The church should be a spiritual hospital. Now, some folks are not going to like what I'm going to say, but the church cannot be fearful of individuals that may have problems, whether it's drug and alcohol, whether it's homelessness, you know, mental health problems. It says, such were some of you. And when we start looking at the foundation and who is in the church, there's nobody in the church that's holy or that has been without sin, as we say. So the church has a role in ministering and being an outlet for people to be able to go to, and not being so judgmental. We can't be judgmental. If we are to make changes in the criminal justice field in Oklahoma County, it is going to take the church community. It is going to take nonprofits. It is going to take programs like the drug court. It is going to take mentoring our youth before they get to that point. It is going to take being open about mental health rather than that being the little dirty secret nobody talks about. But we talk about it. So it takes a holistic approach. So the church can play a role in, and that if they have members that are going through bad times, rather than be someone that they can lean on, the church has a role, and it needs to step up and accept its role and not fear and shun away from it.
One more question, because you've really done a good job of telling me what your priorities were and are and how you want to address them, or identifying the problems that you want to address. But there's one that everybody is kind of it's a hard subject to deal, but how do you deal with the racial disparity in the county jail or in criminal justice system and all? You know, there's the numbers don't lie. No. But if you're African American or Hispanic, the likelihood of you being arrested, incarcerated are almost double, if not more than that, than someone that's a person of non-color. How do you address it?
The first thing, you have to admit that there is a problem. And many want to pretend that there's not that disparity. That disparity reflects our society. And if our society has that disparity, it is in our county jail. And so we have to deal with it and understand it. Then we have to have hard conversation and truthful conversations about it. People want to pretend like the reason Hispanics and blacks are in there because they're the only ones being bad. Sometimes when you poor and when you are, you tend to get highlighted or deal with more things than others. I think that what we have to do is have hard conversations about it. There has to be an aggressive, and I know you all, the county did a hiring thing at Ebenezer. There have to be people that look like people of black and brown skin. Because when you tend...
Representation.
Yes, representation, because when you walk in there and all you see is one race predominantly in control or employed, and they're the ones talking to you. I talked to a young lady Sunday at my church, and she told me something that just made me cry. She said, Pastor, men are not allowed in the hub where we are. And she began to tell me that, and she began to tell me about the number of black women and Hispanic women
in the jail.
In the jail. And she talked to me about an incident where a white officer came in the hub and pulled a young black female out because she had been aggressive or, you know, not, I'm gonna say just like she said, not falling in line. And she said the young girl came back, and it was almost like, I'm trying to think of the movie, but like she was in control now. They set her straight. We in charge of this. There has to be more representation within the county jail, and not just on the officers, but those on leadership. Those, as you go up the ladder of leaders, it's got to be more of us speaking. But then, as there are more of us speaking, there has to be, the disparity doesn't just come from the county jail, Hubert, it comes from the street. So they see more white officers in their neighborhood than they see us. They see, so the disparity just flows into the county jail. The disparity and the racial disparity and the racialism is in society. And the jail is only reflecting what's out there. It's reflecting what's out there. So it is not just a conversation for the jail, the county jail.
But you're going to be leading this conversation. If you take office, you're leading the conversation.
I'm leading the conversation. And I'm telling folks that we can do better. We're going to have some hard conversations. And everybody may not like the conversation, but until folks have hard conversation, truth conversation about what is going on, whether it's a county jail, whether it's about gang violence, whether it's about inmates being raped and brutalized in the jail, and not just talking about men, I'm talking about women. Mm-hmm. Until we have hard conversations about that, and until we make folks accountable, see, we got to stop having fear of saying we're not going to hold anybody accountable. Mm. Somebody needs to answer. You can't tell me that 18 people have died and nobody knows an answer. Somebody has to be accountable. Some mother needs to know what happened to my son. Some husband needs to know, why didn't my wife make it home? Mm. Accountability, transparency, truth, fortitude. And that's what I can offer as the next county commissioner of District 1.
There you go.
I'm ready for the fight.
Tell us how we support you. How do we get to your page, your campaign? How do we help you?
You can, first of all, I can't overlook the church in me. First, you got to pray for me. Pray for me. Then, if you want to help this campaign, I'm going to give out my cell number. Everybody in the city have my cell number anyway.
Be careful about that. Now, you going to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm going to do it. Everybody has my cell number.
Go right ahead. There's your camera right there.
405-706-0361. That's my number. I'm not afraid to take your calls. Please call me. You can also go to my Facebook page, Christine Byrd for County Commissioner. You can also go to my website, Christine Byrd for County Commissioner. And you can also stop at my church, 233 Northeast 88th, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in North Highland. Come by there because I'll talk to you after Bible study. But I will talk to you. But also, you know, I don't know, and I'm sorry, I don't know my post office box by heart, but if you go to my Facebook page and my website, you can find my post office box. I need volunteers. I need, as a kid say, I need some money.
You need the dollars.
I need some dollars because campaigns don't run on air, and I need to get some cards out there, and I need to do some mailing. So, hey, for my sorors out there, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, you can send me $19.13. That's the year that the greatest sorority, was incorporated. So 1913. Now the rest of y'all don't send me 1913.
They can also do 1900.
Now y'all, come on now.
Okay.
See, you thinking like I'm thinking. You think we on the same
19,
page.
$19 is one thing, but 1900 is another.
See, you thinking like I'm thinking. Right. See how we got this going here. 1900. It will help me out. But anything, you know, $5, $10, you know, whatever you can do. Go to my Facebook page. Go to my website, Christine Byrd for County Commissioner. If you just want to walk with us, we always need people to walk and knock doors because we're talking to people about the needs of Oklahoma County, what the county needs. I can't change it by myself. I can't. I'm not going to give you this song and dance. I'm going to go in there with this big agenda and I'm going to become superwoman and boom, I would be lying. I'm going to tell you with your help, we as a county can change the atmosphere of what's happening in Oklahoma County. We can bring criminal justice reform. We can enhance and build small businesses. We can ask for transparency on our budgets and on our bond issue, transparency and truthfulness. We can care about Jones the same way I want to care about the village. I want to care about Spencer, Oklahoma, Midwest City and Dale City and Forest Park. I want to care about Lake Illuminus. I want to care about everybody, but I can't do it without you. So I'm asking you, a leader with a heart to change Oklahoma County. That's Christine Byrd. And I'm asking you, June the 28th, write it down. Write it down. Don't go on your memory.
We're going to remind them.
I'm going to remind you. You're going to see me everywhere. You're going to be so sick of me. You say if she put one more flyer on my door, if she called me, give me one more robocall. But June the 28th, If you want change and transparency and truthfulness and inclusiveness, you want Christine Byrd, County Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for having the courage to serve others, because I know firsthand that it takes a lot of courage to sacrifice what you want for other people's needs. And I see you do that on a daily basis here and in your church and in the community. And then
Thank you.
It takes a lot of courage to put your name on the
Thank
ballot.
you for having me.
I appreciate you being on here.
Thank
you so
you.
much. That's it for Conversations with Cubit. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining in.